That one's gone.
Okay, so today is Monday, August 29th. It is now 7:14. In attendance is Councilperson Camera, Councilperson Bruger, and myself, Committee Chair Nicole Shrestha. So just to do a couple of updates, today is not a long meeting at all. The email alert system is going well. It's going really well, actually. As of today, we have 254 subscribers, and it looks like, we're just gaining traction. Me and Jason was just kind of talking about, is there a certain thing that's being open more than the next? I think it's just getting everybody used to stuff, but by looking at these charts, it looks more like the mosquito spraying meeting notices. Some of those, like our text alerts that we send out, those are getting open. I have been working with Barb on a couple of templates just to kind of not only do like the weekend recaps, but just having that news kind of flowing through emails regularly, so people just get used to it.
What kind of information would be in a weekend recap?
So we've actually put quite a few of them out. Like the weekend after Arts in the Park, it would have had, this last weekend in the village, a whole bunch of snapshots. What's going on this week at the upcoming food truck? Just a cute little quick recap. Nothing too serious. Fun in and out, and just building audience at this point until we get everybody. But it's only been up for less than a month, and we have almost 300 subscribers, which is not bad at all. I'm actually quite surprised at that. So I just wanted to update on that. One of the things I was thinking about was new ways to push past legislation and I'm gonna say this word wrong, ordinances.
Ordinances, yeah.
I think too much about it. Yeah, I don't know. It gets to me. So in the village, as they're passed, just to keep them on our social media, filled with information. That way, even if it's someone, our residents that are, I hate to say it, but too busy, their work schedule don't allow them. Instead of them having to go back and kind of like search what's going on, just do a cute graphic. Council this last Thursday passed this, ineffective, blah, 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 blah. Just something, you know what I mean? And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
I will say that's normally put in the newsletter. There's
Right.
a little section always on what ordinance,
Yep.
what legislation was passed.
Yeah.
This is just would be in addition to that.
Are you envisioning this somewhere on the website or as something that gets sent out?
Social media, just the next day. So like, council last night, had the third reading on leash law. It is now effective. Or the poop thing.
The
Your
waste.
friendly reminder
Yeah,
from the village, please pick up, after your dog. Be friendly. Don't be a crappy neighbor. No pun intended. Have to watch it. Just something. I know we do it in the newsletter and stuff like that, but
Does the
just quick.
newsletter just talk about, though, what we are talking about, or does it talk about what's passed?
If it gets passed, it gets mentioned.
It
Yeah.
does get mentioned? Okay.
yeah.
Just trying to think back to old ones.
It's a quick hit, but it is stuff that's been passed and current. But again, this is just an added bonus. I don't think it can really hurt. That's why I wanted to ask you guys your thoughts on that. So, if you
Yes.
guys are not crazy opposed,
Yeah, so you're saying just a spotlight on the website?
no,
No,
just on
social media. Gotcha.
One
Okay.
thing, like the next day, if we pass something, or just another avenue of keeping people up to date without having to get out there and search for it. I honestly feel like there's a lot of people like me. I could have made a meeting if I wanted to because of my schedule. You know what I mean? And
Right.
if I'm too busy to make an hour-long meeting, I probably ain't got the time to sit and rifle through.
I mean, I think.
It's quick.
Where do we post them
Well, we
on our
post the meeting
website?
minutes that then tell which
Right.
ordinances were discussed or passed. So instead of having to listen to the whole thing, you can just
Yeah.
pull up and
Just
say,
sit.
okay.
Right. But when something is passed, do we post it somewhere on our website, or does it just go into, does it go into the
Just goes
code
into
section, or?
Yeah, if it's something that modifies code, it'll go into the code. That's very rarely something we ever pass.
Uh-huh.
If it's just, once again, in the newsletters, a list of legislation that passed. And then in the minutes, you can find them. Now, that's not being handed to you, that you have to, open up
Right.
and look for.
I'm just thinking, is there a way to put a link to it on our website where they could find it? If it's already posted there, we could put a link, but if it's not, then,
We could link, even, that's actually a really good idea. As we post about it, post the link as to wherever it's at on the website, because it would be the following day. And most of the time, Barb gets those up pretty quickly,
yeah,
It would just be the meeting minutes,
yeah, okay.
Just another way where they
No,
can,
no, I
they
don't-
can have it
I don't see any problem with that, I mean,
at their fingertips. It's the way people
Right.
like things.
right,
So, that was just something that came through. The big thing that I wanna talk about is chatting with council,
Yes.
September 29th. I asked for topics. Mark, you brought up an awesome idea. The capital projects, building lakes, garage, and amphitheater. The mayor is going to do a short presentation on that. But the reason why I wanted to talk to you guys is, first off, I think we, again, limit this to only council. I think that's important, and mayor. But I think even I do, limit some of the responses. I think some of us, including myself, can get wordy.
yeah,
And it takes up time. We have to have a time limit. So what does that look like? I knew we were going over time last time, and I felt so rude saying, whoa, so how are we gonna impose that time limit?
Well, a
'Cause
couple
we
of
have to
things.
respect
One,
everybody's
last time was a little screwy as far as that goes, because we didn't actually have a topic.
yeah,
We let every council person give a little bio.
Right.
And
Sure.
then
No,
we
it's
let
gonna
every
open it
resident
up.
who came in here give a little bio, and
Yeah.
that was essentially it. Which I guess, okay. So if we're gonna have a presentation on the different capital projects, and then questions and concerns, don't make it whole group. We will have hopefully anywhere from 5 to 7, 5 to 7 between council and mayor here. If you have a question, go ask someone.
right,
That's what made the one at Hawthorne so nice. People could be over asking me a question, I could be explaining what the TIF is to them. Well, someone else was asking a question to someone else that was different, and we weren't all waiting to hear a question that we didn't need an answer to. And if you just say, go find someone and ask them your questions or express your concerns, that's what we're here for, but we're not gonna all stand and listen for 7 minutes as someone talks, and then another 7 minutes for
Right.
someone.
I like that.
Because once you do that, even if you have 4 people, you're at half an hour
right,
Yeah.
for 4 questions. Whereas you could be getting 4 questions done in 5 minutes if you just said,
Right.
go find your person, or go find a person. And if that means they come up to someone who asks them a question and you're like, I'm not sure, I think actually Mayor Hughes might know that better, or, check with Nikki on that, she really
Yeah.
is involved with the email a lot more. We can then direct it to where it needs to go, but we're not just standing there listening to someone.
right, we
And
can,
then-
well, it's probably good that we gather the topics that we each talk about, and that way we can come back together later and say, hey, this is what was brought up as we were answering
Yeah.
questions, kinda like what we did at Hawthorne, yeah. Right?
I do. I
Kinda
like
collect
that.
them all
Yeah,
together,
I like
and
that
then,
idea.
because if one person has a question, other people probably have
Yes,
questions. so-
that is absolutely true.
So let's gather them, and then we can write them up then afterwards or something and send it out.
So, we're also saying, keeping it at 1 hour. We're all in agreement with that.
Yeah.
So 7 to 8.
And I don't know this, but we do need to check and maybe check, I don't know who to check with, Barb perhaps. Do we have a hard hour on that? Do we have to be cause this is gonna be at Minerva, France, do we have to be out of there at 8?
Yeah,
Or is it, you can be out at 8, Cause as far as I understand, I don't know this for sure, there's probably gonna be a custodian there who's in charge of locking the doors. when they're-
Yeah, true.
Now, I know they have second shift custodians that don't start till 2 in the afternoon. Which, in most buildings, which means that they're there till 10 anyway.
Right,
And if they're just like, hey, let me guys know when you're done so I can lock up and set the alarm again.
right.
Yeah.
He
but
might
we
be
don't
like, look, if you're here till 8:30, whatever, I'm here till 10, I
Right.
don't care.
I think
Yeah.
in one of those emails she sent about it, she said there's some setup time beforehand, or, you know, there's a cushion in before our meetings. But I don't think she mentioned after a meeting was
It
over.
was in one of the emails?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so, when she
Okay.
told us that we were all set.
But yeah, as I say, our big thing with there is the custodian and, you know,
I'll check with her.
whoever's there, but they do, second shift starts at 2,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, and I think that kind of eliminates my biggest thing, because I was like, I want to respect everybody, I want everybody, you know what I mean, to get their answers, and
And this is the way you do it, because if you wait till if you put people in line, whoever's last in line probably doesn't get their question answered, or if they do, they don't get it answered in a way that's thoughtful and considerate, cause it's,
right.
Right,
Everybody's
yeah,
ready
let
to
me
go
get you
home
out of
then.
here.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, I agree.
It also, and I think this is important, it eliminates grandstanding and speech making. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, it does, yeah,
someone who doesn't have a question, who wants to come up and give a speech, and then you're like, and what's the question? Nothing, I just wanted to say you're all terrible.
I don't know how much time we should spend, well, I'd say let's discuss this. I'm not sure if we should spend much time on the new building, only because,
It's done.
I mean, it's done, right?
Well, we're
There's
gonna have
not
to,
much
I mean, we should definitely announce like, hey, it's done, construction's starting.
Right.
we're, yeah,
Right,
Congratulations, everyone, it's gonna be awesome when it's
Right.
finished.
but.
There's
I mean,
nothing, that train's rolling down the tracks.
Exactly, yep, and it will be starting, I mean, construction will be starting days after this meeting, so,
after this meeting,
no,
not.
the 29th. It starts in October, the
Oh,
construction
I was
starts in
thinking
October.
September,
No, they have September to move
to
out
get
of the
out,
space.
that was it.
So that they can start construction, and for us to move in and get the new space ready. We could,
Yeah,
we
that's
could
awesome.
do it included with that, just talk about the space we're renting for the next year.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Make sure
But
people
it's-
know where it's at, some
That's
maps and
definitely
stuff.
something to bring up,
And
yes.
probably that's some good communication.
Cause
that
right
we need to
now,
go
I
on
don't
the
know
site.
where it is. I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's
I
on
know.
Corporate Exchange,
Yeah.
but is it that big, nice, fancy office building right next to the walking trail that
Yeah.
probably has lots of empty spots in it? If it is, that's a nice place.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And are we gonna have,
Or is it one of the little factory loading dock looking places on the road down
Yeah.
to
On
it
the
where
side.
WOW used
Yeah,
to be
I have
and
no clue.
stuff?
is it going to be, are we gonna have open business hours just the same, right?
I believe so, yeah,
I
Okay,
would
let's check
imagine
on
we
that.
have to.
yeah.
I mean,
There's no
people-
point of renting a space if we can't
I
have
would-
business hours.
That's what I would think.
Well,
but
there still is,
weird
cause you
things
still need a
happen.
place to house the police and park the
Right.
cars and put all your stuff.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think it's actually, I thought it was like corporate exchange, because we were looking at buildings down there and they said it was on the other side. So I was thinking it was gonna be over by WOW.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, but, you know, I think they said Corporate Exchange, which is actually clear up by Home Depot off of.
Yeah,
That's
Oh, yeah.
not at all, it was
Yeah.
always
That's where
down
the
there, there
queue
was,
was.
That's
and
what-
it might be that, Corporate Exchange might be Corporate Exchange, and that might be Corporate Drive, who knows? But yeah, it's definitely the one down there by the CHA. But, you know, are we in the big fancy building? Cause there's a big fancy office building down there, if you take that all the way to the river. That I have never seen have any cars in the parking lot.
Newport's down there too, and Newp's offices are down there.
Mhm.
And the queue was the big mirrored buildings across from Home Depot.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to just,
Yeah,
So yeah, no, we're definitely, because they said it was only half a mile out of the village, we're definitely down there, not clear up near
and I can.
Jerusalem.
Some can use.
I thought maybe I had a copy of
communication
that
now
lease, but
with that. Oh, I do, if you need it.
is it in our meeting notes or council agenda from last week? Oh, here it is, lease, I got it.
And that is
Does
something.
that give
we
the
need to
address?
I don't know, that's what I'm gonna look for.
It should, I would hope. You were leasing from us some property somewhere.
Oh, here it is. 3700 Corporate Drive, Suite 130.
And there you
Corporate
go, it's
Drive?
corporate drive, not corporate exchange.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the big fancy building down by the river. That's that great big one with the huge parking lot that's never filled right by the walking path.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, we are not renting that building, we are renting space
Yeah.
in that building.
Space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Suite 130.
Cause that is a big office building.
That'll be awesome though. That'll be nice. I'm glad that we were able to find a place quickly and, because you really can't do that right now. Okay, so, and then I will talk with Barb about, again, what that setup looks like time-wise, and then push some communications for the new office with some stuff like that. My last thing that I wanted to talk about was the survey. I really wanna get started on the survey. Again, I emailed you guys all copies of this a while ago, I'm sure you guys need new ones. 2018 survey, and I don't know if you guys remember a lot that was in it. I'm kind of wanting to get a basis of things that we should add, things that that we.
I was under the impression that we're using a vendor to do this, right?
We're using the same people.
Okay, so I was under the impression that they kind of helped guide us on those questions, like we kind of gave them topics and then they helped us build those questions. I would assume we'd probably want to ask a lot of the same questions, just to
That's
kind
what
of
I
get a
thought.
baseline off of the last one.
Yep.
And then probably add some new stuff into it,
That's,
right?
yeah, cause we're going with, I would think, most of them, and this is something that's gonna be asked. Me and Eric sat down and we said that this is probably something that should be done at the least every 2 years, you know what I mean? A lot of people do it annually, so we'll keep the same questions, but mine is, what do we wanna add, remember, we didn't have the new division, so there's a lot of stuff that we can add, a lot of stuff that, we can gauge. What was the one thing that we were gonna talk about? The leash law, it's a wonderful time to put the leash law and gauge that, and I guess the right way to gauge it. So what are some of the other things that you guys think?
I don't remember
Like-
exactly what was in the thing, so I'm having trouble saying what I want to add.
Right
I don't know
offhand.
what's in the.
I know,
in the
I'd almost like them to build it again and then maybe bring it.
And then all of a sudden
Maybe
go through it.
this committee reviews it and then we can bring it to council and
And that
ask,
would happen, yeah.
Yeah,
They
and
would
ask
say,
if
these are
there's
the questions we
additional-
normally
yeah.
do, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
You can add 5 to 7 more questions
Right.
without going to premium app, cause I'm sure they have.
Oh, I'm sure.
Different levels of how many and how many different ways we're gonna ship it out to people and all of that.
yeah, I'd say let's just have them start building it.
Okay.
Use
And
the
then
last
we'll
one
do
as the basis
revisions.
and then we can revise it
Yeah,
from
and then
there.
once we
Yeah.
see where we are, we can go through and say, oh, well, they need to ask about
Right.
X, Y, or Z.
Right,
Deal.
I think that's the best way to do it. Do we have a time that we're looking to do the survey, like,
I'd like to get it done.
is this a spring thing, is it a?
No, it was just something like a this year thing, but with all this building and stuff going on, I understand there's a lot going on. So I think probably saying a spring thing would probably be
Yeah, we
more
can get it
realistic.
February or March, that's before you're making a lot of your summer.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I will say this, some of the plans are just, are just there.
Right. I mean, I'm not so concerned with like the pool and stuff like that, only because I have, like, from a pool perspective, I have email addresses of our members and I can send out surveys to members. I think it's from the non-member people that we wanna ask those questions,
Well,
like,
how many
why don't
members?
you use it,
Do
things
you
like
remember roughly how many members how many people?
that. 275, 257, sorry, is what we have
257.
signed up, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
probably no breakdown on resident versus non-resident.
I can
in that.
pull it, and I will pull it and report that eventually, but, I just have to pull it and match up addresses, kind of look where they're at, map them out. So, I mean, I think from like, I'll probably send something out to the pool people and just say, hey, you know, tell me what you like this year, what are you looking for, you know, value of your membership, kind of that type of stuff. But then I think it's how do we capture the people that don't sign up for the pool, and is that a value to
Right,
them?
and if
And
you're
I
gonna
also-
want
and I would
to
also
tailor that
say,
in the pool
And
section,
this is what
yeah.
that is kind of, is you want to, instead of saying open-ended, you really wanna come
Oh,
up with a
yeah.
couple trip things,
Yeah.
rank from 1 to 5.
Right,
Because if it's just open-ended, you have, you know, let's say 100, or, okay, let's say 40 people respond to it, you have 40
Yeah.
little snippets, this and
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that you can't collate in any way.
oh yeah, no, I think it's you know, rank these in your
Yeah.
highest to lowest priority
Or-
type of thing, and,
Like these,
but, yeah,
do you or someone in your household use a pool? Yes, how many days a week?
right,
Okay, again,
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
gauge.
Yeah.
Would you like to see the
Yeah,
pool
I
used
think-
by residents? So yeah, you can tailor that, I mean, that's on you, what you would want
Right.
to kind of pull from that.
yeah. I mean, I'd like to, hopefully all this stuff is in there, I'd like to see how the community wants to be involved in things, you know, their activity level and MPCA, community events, things like that.
So nice.
If there's things that they'd like to see added, you know, of course that, yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work, but whatever the vendor recommends, I think.
So I will meet with him, I'll send an email and I'll be like, listen, let's just get it, let's start with where we're at. Now, we will have to take stuff out, such as like the community building.
Yeah.
We had a whole section on, you know, the potential relocation and move, a lot of that'll come out.
We
So
could
it's
probably
just
leave
re-
stuff in with about the lakes, cause we're not gonna have, I mean, we'll have a plan by then,
Right.
because we have the engineers coming out, but we won't have started anything. Excuse me for my run outside, I just realized that my keys and my scooter are sitting out front.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the quality.
Yeah, communications, that's great.
Village priorities.
Yeah, and then we'll reclassify
Um,
those, redo.
Now, I was asking about like interactions, I think it's important to monitor interactions with our police.
Okay.
Have you had a wonderful experience with our, you know what I mean? I think that's really important, and I think it is with day and times of what we're going through now, I think it's
Right.
really, really important to make sure that we are staying on the up and up of certain situations.
You going fishing? Is that to catch that goose?
I appreciate you. Yeah.
Okay.
Is this gonna fit in your car?
Might not, might have to hold it on the top.
I'm gonna have to walk it home.
Might have to walk it home. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get another big one too, cause I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it.
Cool.
So I wanted to add that. I think
Okay.
that's a good thing.
Turtles out.
Oh, good,
Rescue insurance?
Thank you.
yeah.
The rain not
But if you
forcing
think
over
of
the
like
edge?
anything else on,
Well, I think that's what did.
yeah, we should ask about diversity week.
Yeah.
You know, what else would you like to see aside from, you know, you saw community really take a hold of diversity this year. What would you like to see added to that?
Yeah.
And fun jazz like that, so, okay. So I just needed some insight on these things. I am, it is 7:37 and I am done.
Okay.
Anything else anyone needs to want?
Could've just waited and then left.
You know, when you realize you left your keys in the ignition,
That's-
you wanna
it's a
go
pretty
take care of
scary-
that.
It's a pretty
Okay,
scary
yeah.
thing.
Well, not real scary, cause, you know, stealing vehicles out of the police parking lot when there was an officer standing there.
Yeah.
That would not be good.
Yeah, not the best place to
Might
commit
make
your
a
crime
statement,
spree.
Hey, I know Diane has communicated with us about a possible survey on the newsletter.
Yes, I'm all for
You know,
it.
I think if, we either need to schedule something with her and get it on the books and do it,
I
or,
tried to.
you know, I can just pass it on
So
to you.
my only problem with
You're
that,
not leaving me.
and I actually have several problems with that. One, if you're gonna do a survey in the newsletter, are people checking boxes? Are they dropping it off at the community center? Are they mailing it back? Are
That's
we
what we
asking
were
them to use a
thinking.
That's
stamp?
all, yeah, that's all part of the,
That's-
yeah.
stuff that she was talking about.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
especially since our community building's not gonna be sitting here in the middle of the community for the next few months.
That's a good question.
No one's gonna wanna drive down all the way there to drop something in the mail slot.
So
That doesn't mean we couldn't potentially put a box out here or something that,
I think it's a wonderful idea, especially for some
Oh.
of these things that we wanna get
Yeah.
residents' feedback on. It's a wonderful way, cause we can't,
right. However.
we gotta be able to get
she-
information
there were
aside
some
from a
ideas-
survey.
Yeah, there were some ideas she presented that would limit like duplicates and, you know, a way to
Mhm.
verify it, because it would be on the back of the side that has the address printed.
Mhm.
And so you'd have to turn in that whole thing in order, so we would be able to count by
Yeah.
addresses,
Mhm.
that type of thing.
Cause you do wanna,
So she has some
Yeah.
ideas on it, so it's just a conversation at this point.
I just
to
wonder if
see.
we're gonna do a full, we're paying people to do a survey, do we need to do our own
Yeah.
Yankee half survey first?
I
No,
don't think it's
no,
a survey,
not
I
a
think it's a
survey,
way
like
to
a-
ask
a
like
question
a
or two.
question or two, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a whole survey, it's
Okay,
just,
that's what I was confused, I was
sorry,
like,
no, no, no.
no.
No, it's more of
confused
a,
here.
I don't know, I can't think of an example, what color do you wanna paint the fences, or, I don't know,
Correct.
maybe
that's not a great example.
Mhm.
Maybe that's not a community decision, but,
Yeah.
you know. Something like that, do you wanna hold Halloween on Halloween, or,
Or would you like to see it pat?
yeah,
Little stuff like that.
Mhm.
To
Oh.
gauge residents' response. That way we have an idea and a way to get response and feedback that is verified.
yeah,
And, you know, we can go ahead and double check, without having to do official mailers or wait for the survey once a year. Cause we should be able to do that. I mean, we're shooting ourselves in the foot not being able to do that, I think.
I think at this point, this is just an exploratory conversation, and then we can come back to council and recommend something,
It could work out really well. It could also
Yeah.
work out and we'd be like, oh wow,
yeah,
that was a giant waste of time.
yeah,
So, just trying it.
yeah. Cool,
Yeah, do you wanna send an email in Mondays or Thursdays? Any Thursday,
okay,
my schedule's off,
okay,
any Thursday, so,
Okay.
okay, guys, I'm done for the night.
Okay.
great,
Next meeting, we're gonna have one in September.
yeah, cause we'll have to plan even further ahead since they're gonna be
What?
at the school.
The chatting for council?
No, I'm just saying meetings, our committee meetings are gonna have to be at the school, so we just need to make sure, cause we'll have to reserve the time, the day and time.
I thought, are we doing that personally or is Barb doing that?
Barb will do it, but I'm
Barb will do it,
saying
but
we need to
give her
set
time
it
to do it.
far enough in
Oh.
advance,
Yeah.
so that
Well,
we can
well-
make those arrangements.
We don't need a communications for next
Okay.
month,
Okay.
just cause we have chatting for council.
Yeah, okay, I was just checking.
And we'll do after that and do a regroup after the fact
Okay,
and kind of bring it all back to the table, just saying like we did.
so are you thinking the beginning of October to do one?
Yep. Let me see.
Let me look at my calendar real quick.
So,
Mondays.
and I'm still learning which days we're here again, cause that stuff kinda threw me off. I need to
We
get-
won't be here again, cause
Well,
our
when we're
meeting
meeting.
our meeting this Thursday isn't
Thursday.
here.
Yeah,
Isn't
As of-
Thursdays?
as of this week.
We won't be
everything's
back here
down.
for like the better part of the year.
Yeah,
After this Thursday, right?
No,
No,
this
starting
Thursday's
this
down at the
Thursday.
school.
starting September
we already talked
first.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, Thursday's down at the
I
school
told you.
and the rest of them will be down at the school for the until,
Okay, so when is our work session in October then?
the
oh,
sixth,
I
right?
have no idea.
It'll be the first Thursday,
Okay,
cause our council meetings, well, I have the 13th and 27th. Yeah, that would still be correct.
yeah, and it would be the sixth,
So the
13th.
sixth would be,
So we would have the 20th open.
yes,
You guys wanna do October 20th?
I can do that.
okay. 7 PM, I'm gonna assume,
Yeah.
just because that's what.
Oh, no, I cannot.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, I cannot.
okay.
Do you wanna do that Monday?
I could do that Monday, but not that Thursday. Technically, that Thursday is parent-teacher conference night. Now, I am generally done with parent-teacher conferences well before 7,
But still,
but I can't schedule anything there because if I do have a parent who wants to come at 6:30
get
or
it.
whatever, I have to make myself available.
Yeah,
what about October 17th?
You said you were good the 17th.
Yeah, that's the Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, even if I have conferences, it'll just be 1 or 2 after school and I'll be out of there by 5.
No, I
5:30.
know that stuff can get crazy intense.
Cool.
You're probably drained after
Okay.
2 days of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do that. Chatting for council is the 29th, and everything else is done.
Perfect.
So,
Awesome.
Awesome,
you.
thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Yep. Quick and easy.